Hello and welcome to our webinar, Introducing Microsoft's new Enterprise Work Management Solution. As always, please feel free to check out our YouTube channel for more content like this, and keep an eye out for upcoming webinars in the future.
Today, we're going to talk about where Microsoft's going and how OnePlan aligns with that in their new Enterprise Work Management Solution and how they're positioning that within the Microsoft ecosystem. So with that, let's get started. So, Microsoft Project and overall work management has had some previous evolutions over the last few decades. We're all familiar from many, many years of using Microsoft Project Professional on the desktop. And that became more of the de facto standard for scheduling and standalone scheduling in the marketplace, more prevalent than any other dedicated project scheduling system out there. In that, saving those things to files and things were not adequate for many users. And that was later extended to become Microsoft Project Online, where instead of saving your Microsoft Project plans to MPP files, you publish those plans out into a database and then could do portfolio management and manage entire portfolios of projects and the affiliated data around that. Now, Project Online has been around for many years now, and Microsoft has indicated that while it's not going anywhere in the immediate future, that's no longer where it's investing its development dollars and moving for project and work management. Now, after that, many people who had lighter weight needs felt that Microsoft Project itself or Project Online was maybe more than they needed or more than they could handle, or maybe even a little bit intimidating to some. And Microsoft came out with Microsoft Planner, and that was generally available as part of your Microsoft 365 subscription. And that provided just basic task management in a Kanban board format, whereby you could list your task, you could tag people onto those tasks, and you can mark their completion and their status and those types of things. No scheduling engine in there. Didn't do any scheduling like Microsoft Project, but allowed you to do task management. So from that, there was a gap that was there because there were people that wanted lighter weight project management, but also needed some scheduling capability. And that's where Microsoft came out with Project for the Web. And that provided a web-based, simplified scheduling tool that had a scheduling engine like Microsoft Project, but did only the basics and not all the bells and whistles that you found in Microsoft Project Professional. And that was the foray into this modern project management realm that could address the needs of that occasional project manager, that accidental project manager, as some people define it. Now, Microsoft has had all kinds of task management, work management tools across its entire ecosystem, whether it be, to-dos and SharePoint tasks, Project for the Web, Microsoft Project. Dynamics has project operations for professional services automation, Azure boards for more software development, etc. The list goes on and on. There's many more that are out there as well, but it created a myriad of tools that can create silos of information out there and tasks in different places, and hard to get our hands around it. So Microsoft Project and Microsoft has a project management vision for modern project management, and they state that teams should be able to work the way they want with the tools and the methods that make the most sense for them, but not to sacrifice what the enterprise needs, that the enterprise should get the results that they need overall, and to be able to do that to the degree that they need to. However, with that myriad of tools, those disconnected apps and tools make it hard to get all that done, and it has made it hard to get all that done in the past and up till now. So if we think it's simplified task and project management tools, there in the modern age, there was Microsoft To Do, where people could list tasks and things to do. There was Microsoft Planner for that task management, and the Microsoft Project for the Web that was available, okay? Now, Microsoft's first foray into some consolidation around this was to basically combine To Do and Planner into Tasks by Planner and To Do, which is an application that's been available for quite some time now in Microsoft Teams, to where you could come in and see everything in both of those tool sets all in one place and be able to status them, update them, and view them. But Microsoft Project for the Web was really something still separate and off to the side. It was treated as its own separate tool. and used for scheduling purposes. Now, the next stage of consolidation would take all this and actually combine them all together. And that is where Microsoft has announced the new Microsoft Planner and the new requisite logo that you see there in the middle. And it's designed to provide one simple, familiar experience for task and project management across all those elements. Now, when you manage all your tasks and plans in one familiar experience, what do you get? Well, you get a simple place to manage all your work in one place. On top of that, you get something that's flexible so you can work the way you want. You can work in the way we'll talk about in traditional task lists, or maybe even timelines or Gantt charts, or potentially boards and those types of things. It's scalable because it's designed on the back end with a robust infrastructure. It can power your plans both big and small, and it's intelligent because it accelerates outcomes with AI. And as we're going to talk about, Microsoft's foray into AI with Copilot is going to extend to this new offering with Planner. So with that, I would like to play a video from the Microsoft project team and Planner team that's out there.
The new Planner app in Microsoft Teams, coming in early 2024, allows you to see all of your work across Microsoft 365 in a single location. Keeping intelligence at its core, Planner also includes the power of AI with new Copilot features to help you get started and stay on top of all of your work. In Planner, you have the freedom to create different types of plans based on the complexity of your projects. Start with a basic plan for your simple projects using the Planner experience included in Microsoft 365, or create a premium plan for enhanced project management capabilities like task dependencies, goal setting, and additional customizations. Get started using one of the templates like Project Budget, Sprint Retrospective, or Goals and Objectives, or start with a blank plan to create any plan that you need. For now, let's start with a basic plan just for yourself. Here, you can plan out your own work, like a career plan or a personal to-do list, or start drafting work for an upcoming team project, like a marketing campaign. All of the tasks are visible in the different views. Grid view to see tasks in a simple list, board view to see tasks grouped by different fields, schedule view to see when each task will be worked on, or charts view to get a quick understanding of your plan's progress. When you need to share with others, you can easily do so by adding team members to the plan, or if you have an existing group, simply add that group. Once the plan is shared, it's simple to assign work to the correct people so everyone can quickly get started on their tasks. The Planner app in Microsoft Teams is designed to grow with you. So if you discover that you need additional functionality beyond what's offered in a basic plan, it's easy to try out premium features. In just a few clicks, you can get started using a premium template and get access to all premium capabilities. With premium plans, you also have access to the power of AI with Copilot, which can help you save time by creating relevant tasks quickly. Simply tell Copilot what you would like to accomplish, and it will add a set of tasks to your plan. Premium plans also give you access to a range of advanced project management capabilities, like goal setting, so everyone knows what you are working towards and how their work will have impact. You can also set dependencies between your tasks and see the full timeline for your project in a Gantt chart format, which includes the critical path for your plan. Organize your tasks into sprints to manage work in an agile way. Easily load balance work across your team using People View. And customize your plan by adding custom fields to tasks, conditional coloring on the grid view, and even set custom working calendars so tasks are only scheduled on the days you work. You can easily find any of your plans in the My Plans page, where all of your plans will be organized for easy access. For even quicker discovery, pin your favorite plans so you can open them from anywhere within the app. You can also quickly see all the work that is assigned to you by heading to the My Tasks page, where there is a list of tasks you are responsible for, no matter where they were assigned to you in the Microsoft 365 ecosystem. Finally, use the My Day view to stay focused on what you need to accomplish today. Here, You will see any tasks that are due the same day, along with any tasks that you choose to add, so you remember to stay focused on them. And for frontline organizations, Planner offers task publishing to centrally define tasks, quickly distribute work at scale, and monitor results across your organization. To learn more about how Planner can help serve frontline organizations, visit aka.ms/task publishing in Planner. Using the new power of Copilot to get started on a new project faster than ever, and with all of your tasks in one place, it's never been easier to stay organized and on top of your work. Whether you need simple task management tools or advanced project management capabilities, Planner is the one-stop shop for organization and collaboration.
A good overview of what's there. Essentially, Microsoft has not only done some rebranding, where Microsoft Project Professional is now called Project for the Web is now called Planner Premium, where the standard Planner is still called Planner. But bringing those all together into a common forum to work on is something that's a big advancement. So right now, you should be seeing, if you're Microsoft 365, you should be seeing the new Planner experience in Microsoft Teams being rolled out. It started out about a month ago, rolling out into different tenants, and you should have probably by now seen it become available for you in Teams to add. So you should check that out. Later in 2024, the new Planner web experience is generally available, where you'll be able to do this in a browser, not just in Teams. So that's what's coming next. Now, Copilot in Planner, that's something that now Copilot chat experience is available in Microsoft 365 and the Power Platform. Those are generally available now. And then early in 2024 and rolling out here is the Copilot in Planner experience in Microsoft Teams, and it's generally available. And you should be seeing that here shortly. Later in 2024, the Copilot in Planner web experience will be generally available as well, when Copilot Planet web experience is generally available as well. So if we think about this, we talked about this topic here today about enterprise work management. Microsoft trying to simplify and getting access to people that more casually or more occasionally manage projects. That collaborative work management and task management is available today, and is available to you with the combination of Planner and the combination of Teams, where people can create tasks, assign them, get feedback on them, and collaborate them on and in the concept of Teams, and leverage as needed the power of Copilot within that, if you're enabling that. Now, this enterprise work management from Microsoft really takes this concept of Planner, both Planner Premium, which is Microsoft, formerly Microsoft Project for the Web, now Planner Premium, and adding a Power App capability called an accelerator. And this Planner accelerator, as it's now going to be called, allows you to have some enterprise work management capabilities like a portfolio, like being able to aggregate those things into programs, etc., and be able to extend beyond what you would do on individual plans in a collaborative work management sphere. And that data from the accelerator and the Power App is being actually stored in the Microsoft Dataverse for things like reporting. So the focus here is in simplifying this to basically enable collaborative work management and some semblance of enterprise work management up to a point with the Planner plus the accelerator. We'll talk about that a little bit more coming up here. So the future of Microsoft project and portfolio management really is all centered in the Microsoft Cloud as a platform, okay? With all the capabilities, the security, the compliance, and everything that's available with that. Now in this collaborative work management, it's Planner and Teams that really provide that. And Planner Premium, if you're subscribed to that, formerly Project for the Web, gives you that additional scheduling capability that you get with Project for the Web, and now Planner Premium, that you don't get with just the basic Planner. Now Office 365, if you're an M3 and M5 or an E3 or an E5 subscriber, you do get some access to doing things like getting tasks assigned to you, being able to provide updates on tasks and stuff, maybe not necessarily building plans, but you can participate in that process by having the proper Office 365 subscription. making it available to a wider audience and hence making collaborative work management more readily available to the Microsoft user base. Now, we extend up to the first tier of enterprise work management. This is where Project Online was the marquee offering, and I have it in gray here because it's getting older. It's not where Microsoft's investing. It's not where it's going. But now, if you take Planner Premium and the Accelerator, it was formerly the Project Accelerator, the PMO Accelerator. Now with the Planner branding, it's going to be called Planner Accelerator, is going to provide that power app that is an environment that encompasses Planner within it, and it provides additional capabilities to provide enterprise work management like portfolio management and program management and some intake. And to be quite honest, there's some capabilities we'll talk about in a little bit that OnePlan can add to the mix to layer onto this complementary and embedded into that solution that provides even more enterprise work management capabilities, because the needs of customers are not all the same. Some customers and some use cases have very simple use cases, and other ones have more sophisticated, more mature use cases for enterprise work management. Now, if we talk about the maturity scale, there's this whole realm of what's called strategic portfolio management out there, which really gets into aligning with strategies. It gets into more detailed resource allocation, things like what if scenario analysis, alignment with your enterprise and business architectures, et cetera. And this is something that OnePlan uniquely can bring to the party and layer on and incorporate a number of your Microsoft tools into that mix. And we'll talk about that in more detail here shortly. So what does OnePlan bring to the party? Well, OnePlan does bring strategy. It does have its own OKRs capability. Now, Microsoft does offer Viva Goals, and we'll talk about connecting to that, and that could be a source of it, but this could allow you to use those OKRs for alignment with more than just projects, maybe with things in your enterprise architecture, and provide some visualizations that you might need around that. So that enterprise architecture capabilities, other portfolios of things like applications and products and business capabilities, value streams, et cetera. These are things that you might want to capture in your portfolio management solution and align with the projects and initiatives that you're going to embark upon. Now, just general ideation and requests, to be able to have an ideation area where anybody in the organization can submit ideas and requests that can be vetted, approved, and potentially become parts of your project portfolio. That's something that's inherent within OnePlan as well. So you think about these three pieces, they're all kind of formative initial steps in order to determine what we're working on. Here's the specific requests, but then hopefully the requests and the things that we work on are aligning with the strategies and the objectives of where the overall organization is looking to go. Now, in planning, to have a robust portfolio, which is something that Microsoft provides the basics on, but some extended capabilities in portfolio planning with different portfolio list views, portfolio Kanban views and board views, such that you can do things like program increment planning for your agile folks, or roadmaps for more your product and delivery oriented types of folks that want to look at the portfolio in those different ways. Capacity planning. This is where OnePlan can really add some mix, where detailed time-phased information is required. This is something that we can extend beyond what the core Microsoft offering can provide if you need that. The financial planning, detailed, time-phased financial planning with the cost category structures as detailed as you need them, cost types, whether if you have to plan on things like original budgets and revised forecasts and actuals, and even maybe track or forecast benefits or revenue. Those are things that are added to the mix that really aren't in the base offering that we have here for Microsoft. And then what if scenario modeling, be able to evaluate alternatives in a sandbox type of mode that allows you to evaluate alternatives before you implement them within your solution. And on the execution side, yes, there's work planning in OnePlan. There's agile planning with boards and backlogs and sprint planning, but it also has a connector platform that allows you to leverage the other tools that you may already be using and fold those into an overall portfolio management solution or enterprise work management solution. That includes Planner, and that includes Project Professional and or the former Project for the Web and other non-Microsoft tools. And on the Agile planning side of things, bringing in data from your Azure DevOps on the Agile side of things, or Jira, for example. These are things that can complement the overall solution while incorporating all the Microsoft tools that you have invested in and invested time and effort and planning effort for. And this includes things like tracking other work types like issues, risks, change requests, lessons learned, assumptions, whatever it might be. That's all inherent within the solution. And individually, this time phase data that we're talking about, to be able to do individual resource planning within each project or each plan, and be able to do resource negotiation between functional managers who are responsible for the resources and the project managers who are actually looking to secure those resources. And all that folds up into the resource capacity plan that we talked about in the portfolio planning side. And then the team member stuff. Now, we can definitely collaborate with additional things beyond what's in, Planner. So if Planner is something where you have, and you're working with all those tasks within Microsoft, you can actually status all those things right within there. But let's say you have non-Microsoft tools. Let's say you have Azure DevOps and other tool sets like that coming in. You can actually provide status and updates. And one thing that we can provide that isn't inherent into the basic offering is a timesheet for people that have to capitalize labor, people that have to have chargebacks within their organization, or potentially bill external clients for the work that's being done. And on the analysis side of things, status reports that are natural output of the process for individual projects, dashboards that you can then have for portfolio level, program level, project level, down to resource or task information level, etc., all the way through, and trending reports. Those are things that are available via Power BI through a native feed of data from the solution that brings all this data together. And the visualizations, we talked about how things can interrelate within the system. If you have a full strategic portfolio management incantation of your solution, and looking at how strategies interrelate and enterprise architecture elements relate to initiatives, etc., and look at how they all interrelate and what things need to be factored into your decisions. Ultimately, we want to be able to deliver the things that we're trying to deliver in a good fashion. Now, AI, Microsoft is developing Copilot and really advancing that quickly throughout the Microsoft ecosystem. And as you saw in the video, docked to the tool on the right-hand side, so you can actually leverage its capabilities. OnePlan complements that with its own Sophia GPT, which is specifically designed for enterprise work management and strategic portfolio management, such that you can leverage the data that's in this solution, as well as best practices and knowledge that it has from being trained about the whole discipline and the OnePlan tool set itself. The idea of bringing this stuff together is we want to do the right work. We want to make sure we're selecting the right things to work on. And then ultimately, when we decide on that, we want to do it well. We want to do the work right. Now, the integrations that I talked about are not, one-off custom coded integrations. These is a platform that allows us to have pre-built connectors to bring those things into OnePlan to extend this enterprise work management endeavor. So for example, we have software development or agile tools, financial management tools and ERP systems, work management and scheduling tools, ideation input tools, professional services or CRM tools, service management tools that you might have, enterprise architecture tools you might already have in place. We can leverage the data from those, or strategy tools that you may already be using. Now, if I highlight the Microsoft specific areas here, yes, there's Azure DevOps we can bring in, the new planner and or project for the web or project professional, dynamics or data from the Dataverse to and from. And in Viva Goals, if you're using that for your strategy in the OKRs, we can leverage that in the OKR capabilities and the strategic alignment capabilities that are available in OnePlan. So once again, this can be very seamless and leverage the things you're already using. On top of that, OnePlan has a fused UI strategy. Now, OnePlan, I'm going to show it to you today in a browser primarily, but I'll show you one example different than that. But think about using OnePlan. Let's just say you have a Power App and you're using the accelerator and you want to extend the capabilities that are in the accelerator using OnePlan. We can leverage OnePlan directly within the accelerator or directly within any Power App that you have. If you're using Microsoft Teams, OnePlan is an authorized Microsoft Teams application, and you can leverage that in general within Teams or specifically in any team or channel you'd like to enable it in. On Azure DevOps, we extend and can leverage the Azure DevOps planning data, but you can also use with our extensions OnePlan directly in Azure DevOps without ever having to leave Azure DevOps. The same holds true for Dynamics, the same holds true for SharePoint. And so the idea is that you can continue to work in the environment that you're working in every day, but still take advantage of the OnePlan capabilities and its benefits. Now, Sophia GPT, I'll just reiterate, it really is designed for project and portfolio management all the way up to strategic portfolio management. And it leverages Microsoft's Azure OpenAI, not the general OpenAI that's out there available for ChatGPT in the marketplace, because it has more privacy, compliance, and security than it guarantees out there. And it really provides the ability for you to do things like data entry, information retrieval, anomaly detection, analysis, etc., right within OnePlan itself. And it's a capability that layers on to what you can get from Copilot and or ChatGPT if you're using that out there for general use. It doesn't have to, it can complement that completely. So with that, I thought I'd go into a demonstration. And just very quickly, in the browser here, I thought I'd go into Teams and show you that, Planner was enabled here within our environment. And if I look here, you'll notice that I have a software development plan. And this was primarily used to be called Project for the Web, where you would build a plan like this. And in this, you could have, a grid view, a board view, as the video showed you, with different buckets. You could have timeline views and work with it in a more of a traditional Gantt chart style, and some basic analysis for this specific plan on things like charting on how we're doing on completion, the people that are assigned on this specific plan, the goals that you might have set out for this particular plan. For example, there may be a detailed list of assignments. This is something that you could look at right here within that. Now, when you want to build a new plan within here, you could actually go and say, I want to build, I go to my plans and I want to go and create a new plan. You now have an option. Now, depending on how you're licensed, by the way, basic is really what you had with Planner before, right? Starting with a list and a board. Planner Premium allows you to use the former Project for the Web capabilities and now what's called Planner Premium, and it gives you access to the things I just showed you, plus access to things like Copilot, etc. And there's some templates available for you for that as well. So for example, if I went into this Software Development 2024 plan and I went into Access Copilot, which is in preview at the moment, I can come in here and it'll prompt you for some things that you could ask it for. And I already did a couple of these. In the interest of time, instead of running those, for example, I could say create some goals for this, or create some buckets for unassigned work. And what it did was, when I asked it the question, it actually created these goals automatically. Or if I went into the board, it created a bucket for unassigned work as I went through here. So the idea here is that Copilot's available for you in preview with Planner Premium, and it gives you the ability, if you're in just basic Planner today, to try this out in a trial basis as you go through. So as you go through here and explore, you'll be able to see that happen. Now, where OnePlan adds to the mix is, basically providing additional capabilities that can be accessed here in the browser or through Teams or through a number of different areas like we talked about in the slide. Now, one of the things it provides is Home or Insights page. In this particular case, you can set up rules and or some AI-based analysis that allows you to say, what things require my attention, what's overdue, what needs my approval, what those types of things. Conversations that are happening regarding tasks or resources or plans are all available here if they're elements that I'm involved in, so I can look at what's the latest here and then drill into the original threads that I want to get to. And then the plans that I'm personally involved in, the ones that I'm most interested in, instead of me having to navigate as a user through an entire portfolio to the things that I'm on or involved in, I can basically have my own personal list of projects to be able to get to them individually and get to any aspect of that plan here, whether it be the details, the work plan itself, the resource plan, etc. We'll talk about that as we go through here. We also have the ability here to do intake. And OnePlan does provide a portal capability that allows you to submit ideas and requests from anyone in the organization and ultimately have them promoted to become projects at any given point in time. Let's say, for example, I was going to look at this website redesign that was submitted. You can design the forms, the data points that you want. We have some templates to get you started with, but the metadata to categorize, the approval process you need to go through, narrative on your things like your business case, maybe even your prioritization method, whether it be business driver oriented that drives a calculated score, or maybe a more agile approach like weighted shortest job first, and even align it with things like strategies, key results, and other enterprise architecture elements is something that's available to us in here. And one of the cool things in here is that you can align those things such that you can visualize how they're interrelated and what things need to be factored into our decision as we decide whether or not to approve these things. So for example, I don't have any predecessors or successors to this, but in what we call a runway view, you can see this website redesign is actually aligned with this key result and the objectives and key results, which can be done natively within OnePlan or be sourced from Viva Goals. And the idea here is that you can increase brand awareness as the objective is also impacted by this. So as we consider whether or not to do this, we have to realize that it may have impact on our ability to achieve our overall objective and its key results. And we also see that that key result has an association with this product, which means we may have to consider things we need to do for that product or monitor the progress of that product in our decisions. Now, we get to this, and if we go to the ideas, we can go to this at any given point in time, and we have a convert or reorganize function that allows us to take these and convert them to whatever other type we want, project or otherwise, and carry forth all the stuff in the idea phase and things like that that we wanted to capture. Now, also be aware that if I go into an all ideas view, you have the ability to score these with some prioritization scoring, and you can also do some public or general sentiment or voting on these things such that you can come in and vote on these elements and see how popular these things are as well. So we can source these and actually capture those ideas, vet them, approve them, and then turn them into projects when it makes sense to do so. On the portfolio side of things, if these things do become projects, once we get into a portfolio, we can structure a portfolio any way we like. So instead of just a plain list of projects that you have, you can actually structure, fashion, color code, and theme these things such that we can look at them in a variety of different ways. In this particular case, I've got a plan type hierarchy where I have different plan types in the system where I've got a portfolio level, I got programs within the portfolios, and then within the programs, I've got projects and epics. And if there's an epic, I have an option to break that down to a feature level, which that in and of itself could become like a project or initiative within this portfolio. And as we go through here, let me just open up one of these portfolios and see that there's a program within it. And then I can see there's a number of projects and epics within there. Now, as I look through this, you'll see some icons that may look familiar over on the left-hand side. These connector icons allow us to, shows us that we're connected to one or more technologies outside of OnePlan with the connector platform. For example, I can see that I have a plan here that's connected to Azure DevOps. I can see that I have a plan here that's connected to Project Professional. I see there's one that's connected to Project for the Web. I see there's one that's connected to Planner. And here's one that's connected to Teams only for content and collaboration. And maybe they're using the planning capabilities within OnePlan natively on this particular project. And there's non-Microsoft things in here like Smartsheet and Jira, for example. The idea is you have the power of choice, that you do not have to abandon what you've already invested in order to have portfolio management capabilities as we go on through here. And for example, where the new model of Microsoft's Enterprise Work Management would allow you to bring in Planner or what's called Planner Basic and Project for the Web, now Planner Premium, it does not accommodate Microsoft Project Professional on the desktop. You can still use your Microsoft Project Professional plans and bring those into a OnePlan portfolio so you can have that one pane of glass and that one hub of information for all of this, right? We can have different views of the portfolio. Here I'm looking at a color-coded KPI kind of oriented type of view as we go through here, but we can have different views in here that might oh, I don't know, have maybe a more of a financial aspect to it and look at it from a financial perspective, right? Look with more financial data in different views. We could actually have a summary view that actually strips out that plan type hierarchy and then allows us to summarize by whatever metadata that we want. So as I come through here, for example, let's just say I wanted to take that and I just wanted to say, let me group and summarize this by business unit. And if I wanted to see all the things that we're doing in IT, I can see the IT specific things, and we can filter and group by the same types of parameters in the system. If I have categorizations of projects as a metadata piece, I could say, all right, let me just quickly look at this portfolio by that. And I'm going to go in and say, what are all my compliance projects that I'm working on? So very flexible portfolio management. On top of that, it doesn't just have to be list views. It can be board views, for example. And these board views might look at your portfolio data, and we can structure the columns. In this case, it's by the state of the project, and the swim lanes, which we don't have any in this particular view. But notice we have cards of data in here, and I've got things like a market research project here that is red. And I can, at any given point in time, I can go into a quick edit and see more than just what the card is showing me, and go through here and be able to look and see why that thing is red. In this particular case, as I scroll down the details of this, I can see it's because the schedule is off track, is why it's showing off track overall. It seems like the issues and the financial health and the effort health seem to be fine. We can also add, swim lanes at any given point in time. So for example here, if I wanted to look at this and say, oh, let me do this one by business unit. And I can come through here and I can say, here's the applications business unit, what we're working on, the capital planning and what we're working on, et cetera, and work on it that way. So once again, a lot of flexibility here. And the roadmap views have the same kind of flexibility. So for example, in this case, I've got a roadmap that has key events at the top, like our program increments quarterly, and different events that we might be trying to track to. And this one's got the swim lanes by business unit. In this particular case, I can see what's going on, what's going to be delivered in each business unit, how it's tracking to our key events that we're gearing towards. And once again, I can get to the quick edit and any other details around that plan right here, because it's live data. It's not a separate artifact that we might be wanting to work with. Okay. Now, if I go to back to the list views of the portfolio, and let me just go back to the portfolio summary view that we started in. And I look at some of these projects. Let's drill into some of these. So let's drill into this work planner project. And the reason I want to go through is the components that you would track in here. So for example, in this particular case, I've got the data and metadata that I want to capture around this project, and you can have as much of that as you'd like in different ways you'd like to slice that. I might have a phase or gate or life cycle process that this goes through that I can move it through. The business case data that might have come over from the idea or the request might be in here. How it's currently prioritized, how it's aligned with other enterprise architecture elements like key results or applications, etc. The current status of things like schedule, financials, effort, KPIs, what have you. That's all available, and that's a highly configurable form for you to capture the data that you'd like to have in there. The work plan itself, and we can go and look at this in list or board views as well. But if I come into the work plan, what you'll see is a schedule, right? And this schedule, this one's just like we had plan types up in the portfolio level, we have work types in the work plan that allows us to do more waterfall scheduling, more agile backlog planning, track issues, risks, changes, et cetera, all the way through there. And we can interject at any given point in time a Gantt chart view in here like you would traditionally usually see in these areas as we work through that. So it's very flexible in how we would do that. What's kind of cool about this is that you could build this from templates within OnePlan. You can even use our AI to build a template for you. Or you could choose, in this case, here's a subset of the tools that we have that we've enabled in this environment. I could have sourced this from Smartsheet or Project Professional or Project for the Web or Azure DevOps or Microsoft Planner right from within here. I could use that as the source and have it connected as an ongoing basis, not just an import, but a live connection to that data. And I'll show you some examples of that here shortly. Okay. There's also a resource planning capability that allows us to look at these things in a variety of ways. In this particular case, I've got a top-down plan that's not really dependent on tasks within our work plan. You can plan in terms of hours or percentages of allocation or full-time equivalents, and I can look and see what's required. Now notice that Bertram here in this month, I only need 17% of his full-time equivalent, but it's showing as red because it's already tracking other plans that he's working on. So as opposed to Planner that's looking on a plan-by-plan basis individually, this is looking at the overall as well as the individual plan as we're working on through that. So this top-down plan allows us to come in here and say, I need Bertram, for so many FTEs by month or by week, whatever your increment is across that. But we also can do the bottom up. So as you assign Bertram and other resources to your individual work plans, you can see that he is actually being assigned specific tasks within the plan that are rolling up to a plan from the bottom up. Some organizations use this only, some people use the top down only, but the cool part here is that you can actually use this and compare. Let's just say you had a top down plan before you had a schedule to get the plan approved. And then you have a schedule. And then we can go look at this and compare what the committed plan or what our assumptions were versus what the current scheduled show and see if they vary. So for example, the committed plan said I would need Bertram 75% of his allocation in April, but the schedule says I don't need him at all. So once again, I can see the deviations from that. And that can include things like your actuals if you're doing timesheets as well. And the details around more time phase data, something that's not in the accelerator, is the idea to be able to, from a resource plan and from a financial plan, be able to look at your resources and your financials in detailed cost categories, both labor and non-labor. These labor categories can come from your resource plan and your rates associated with them, but you can track as many different cost types as you would like, whether it be your original budget, forecast, actuals, benefits, or you can add others of your own if you have to be more granular than that. And I would say this, on the reporting side of things, we have all kinds of things. The status report, making that a natural output of the process and formatting the status report format the way you want with the data that gets pulled in from the system automatically, but also being able to then each period be able to put your own narrative in there and update these things before it's submitted and complete. The cool part is it will then save a history, snapshot that data for trending and such for each reporting period, and people who use OnePlan can actually come in and view it right here, but you can also share it with people via PDF, Word, or even send it to people in the body of an email. And once again, that whole idea of dashboards and insights and visualization, let's do it just from, we did it from an ideation perspective, but let's look at that runway and how this particular work plan might be associated. And this one's a little busier. This one basically is saying this work plan is basically tied to 4 different key results and 2 different objectives. So as we look at this, we can see how we're related to this and what else we're related. Now, we're not related directly to these products, but the objectives and key results are. And it also has to consider in the status of an application, a business capability, or a value stream. Once again, complete strategic portfolio management to enhance your enterprise work management capabilities. Now, if I go back to our portfolio list, say go look at some other tools where I showed you the potential to connect to other tools. What if I went in here and went to see how this schedule was connected in this project for the web plan? Now I could go and drill directly into the work plan like I did before, or I can just here at the portfolio level, click on the icon for project for the web, and it's telling me that it's actually has a live connection to project for the web that's sourcing the data in that work plan. And if I want to, I can actually go to that plan in project for the web and see what that stuff is syncing over from here from. So if this is the source, I can continue to work in project for the web for the plan, but have that data roll into the work plan in OnePlan and summarize and roll into an overall portfolio that might have other tools in play. If I wanted to do the same thing, I could do the same thing with Planner. So if I click on the Planner icon for this Planner project, once again, a live connection. If I open this up, it'll take me to the plan that would allow us to update this. And these are the elements that it's going to take the updates from in the Planner plan. Something a little different. Project Professional is a desktop tool. It's a fat client piece of software, but I can still connect to it. So here I can see that I have a live connection to Microsoft Project Professional plan. And if I go to open it, it's going to take me to a Microsoft project plan that it's synced to. And the cool part here is if I have the information in Microsoft Project and I want to continue to sync this, I have the ability in here to continue to use my Microsoft Project Professional data. I can leverage OnePlan in Project Professional such that we can take the data that's in here and we can not only publish the data that's in here to OnePlan, we can receive updates back from OnePlan into here to keep that as a seamless process, not just a one-time import as we go through this, and basically have that come on through. Other things, for example, for your Agile folks in the Microsoft world, you might be using Azure DevOps. And let's do this. I'm going to drill into, from the portfolio, I'm going to drill this one into the work plan. Here, what we're doing here is we're syncing, in this case, to a backlog work type, but we could also sync it to the schedule if it made sense for you to do so in the way that you were managing this. But if you look at here, you can see the icons that all these items are coming over here from Azure DevOps by that icon. And this active connection that you see here is basically coming from an epic over in Azure DevOps. And our OneConnect platform is configurable, so you decide what you want to bring over. So it's this epic that's bringing that data over. Now, if you look here, OnePlan capability, I'm using this here to demonstrate that fused UI capability where OnePlan can actually be accessed from within Azure DevOps. So for this particular epic, for that epic specific data that's in OnePlan, I can come into here while I'm in Azure DevOps. I can look and see what's been synced over there already, okay? I can look at the resource plan, which we don't have in Azure DevOps. We can access that right here from within. We can look at the financial plan for that, right? And the details page that has the data that's being presented at the portfolio level within here, as well as the reporting. And if in general you wanted to use OnePlan capabilities, I could get to the overall portfolio or get to a timesheet or those types of things, all right here from within Azure DevOps. While the data is connected, we have a connection of the user experience in here as well for interacting with the tool set. Overall, the resource capacity planning, we showed it to you within an individual project, but if I was going to show it to you in a overall resource capacity plan, you can see a resource summary here whereby I can see the aggregation. Let me just show this in terms of full-time equivalents. And as I go through there and I look at this, I can see where I have over and under allocations across all the plans, both from the top-down committed plan. And in this particular case, I can also take a look and see things like, where do I have generic developer assigned, right? Where I still might actually have to put a name to these things. For example, this product launch, if I wanted to come in here and I wanted to say, let me find candidates for that, maybe use a best match function or criteria-based search for here, I can come in here and see who might have availability at this time frame when I need this. It looks like Toby Stevens might have the bandwidth, and I could replace that generic with Toby Stevens. I could do the same thing with an over-allocated resource and get them relieved by a resource that's got more bandwidth or availability at that particular point in time, and I can reconcile those things right here from OnePlan. The other piece we talked about is what-if analysis, and I'll just give a quick piece in here to say you can set up different models with different subsets of the portfolio of information, and I can come in here and run what-if scenario modeling. Say, for example, I set up a model which has potential candidate projects that are both active and maybe proposed or on hold projects that are in here. And that model that we're considering is potentially 43 projects, in depth. And I might be dealing with constraints. Well, I could come in here and say, what are the resources that are required for this scenario? And this one's going to tell me that I have a bunch of red and yellow in here, so it may not be doable. And I might look at it from a perspective of budget, and it looks like it doesn't fit within my budget constraints within certain periods. So I may have to do some things here scenario-wise. Now, one thing I might do is put some constraints on. I might deselect projects. I may move them out in time in a what-if mode here and save those individual scenarios. But just in the interest of time here, let's just say my constraint was $10 million. I could then select and deselect projects and move projects in and out of this time frame in a way such that this scenario only allows me to do 17 of these projects, and a bunch of projects don't make the cut. And if I go in here and I look at, the financial aspect of that, we can see that this gets us down in the realm of a $10 million budget for the period, so it fits within that constraint. And I can also take a look and see from a resource perspective, you know, what does that mean if that's our selection? We say we have very little red now here. We might be able to do that. Now, I might say, you know, compare, and I might do a $15 million budget scenario. And in that particular case, as I do more and more of those, I can compare those scenarios and go take a look at the comparison around those. So in this particular case, let me go to the bubble chart here. Go back into that model, and I go to the analysis of the two different models. Essentially, I can see the $10 million and $15 million, see how many projects are in, see the parameters that I've decided to track around that. But an interesting analysis you might have is like for an additional $5 million of spend, it looks like I am estimating another $20 million in benefit. I may want to consider doing that. I might want to look at, for example, a bubble chart in here. And that bubble chart would show me what was selected in here. And I could even overlay into here the plans that didn't make the cut, such that I could go in and take a look and see if there's some things I should reconsider. And the visualizer that we talked about earlier on, we can use in a different context in the what if analysis of saying what's been selected, what's unselected, and see if there's some things that we didn't select that we may have to do to make sure that certain other things get done as we go through that all the way through, as well as looking at the runway around that. So once again, a bunch of analysis that we can do long before we actually change the production data. And a lot of that comes from, you know, these analyses and these relationships can come from what we call our enterprise architecture area that identifies different portfolios of things, whether it be product portfolios, business capabilities, applications, value streams, et cetera, that we may want to align with and track within here as multiple portfolios of capabilities that we may want to track. Okay. I will try to show a little bit of Sophia here. And we have other webinars that we do on that specifically. But just on the what if side of things, if I go into my ideas area, and let me just go to a prioritization view, and very quickly just give you an idea. And you know, much like Copilot would do for specific Microsoft tools, in this case, overall, bringing in all the Microsoft tools and having all that data together in one place, it does provide you some examples you might do here within an ideation area. But I'm going to ask it specifically, based on priority and ROI, what 3 projects should we approve first and why? So I've got a whole bunch of requests or ideas in here. Which one should I isolate, right? Which one should I consider first? And it's thinking a little bit and should give me its take on the data that's in here. It's leveraging not only what it knows about the discipline and what it knows about OnePlan, it's also looking at this data and analyzing this. And it's telling me, one is the cybersecurity audit, not because of how it's scored, but also how it's crucial to ensure the security of the organization. Voice integration assistant, once again, with its rationale, et cetera. So it's giving me some help in analyzing this process as we go on through, okay? And I guess I'll end with the team member stuff that, you know, we need. Now, while, you know, Planner will give us the ability to bring together tasks from a variety of tools and update the status and the tasks, we can bring in from other non-Microsoft tools and other things, the tasks in here to status into my work area. But one thing that we do uniquely at is the ability to do a timesheet. And if you have a need to do timesheets and you want to use the new Microsoft Enterprise Work Management, this seamlessly fits in so that you can do time reporting within that. And once again, this is also delivered from the Microsoft Cloud from Azure. All right, so with that, and then let's talk about summarization and some next steps. So in summary, Microsoft is in the process of reimagining and combining Project for the Web and Planner into a new Planner experience and a rebranding and a consolidation of it as a tool. And it's focusing on collaborative work management and some enterprise work management. And OnePlan provides a platform that extends the new planner to provide full enterprise work management, PPM, and strategic portfolio management, SPM capabilities to that enterprise work management realm. OnePlan integrates with other solutions like Microsoft Project Professional and like other non-Microsoft tools you may be using to get it into the fold. And OnePlan is delivered in the Microsoft Cloud, just like the rest of the technologies are. And OnePlan does provide the solution, services, and migration support to ensure customer transition and get you to where you need to be from point A to point B. Now, OnePlan is focused on PPM and enterprise work management. We basically have been named for the last 5 years either the winner or the finalist of Microsoft's Global Project and Portfolio Management Partner of the Year. We also get recognized by the analysts like Gartner, Infotech Research, and even places like Software Reviews for our thought leadership and work with our tools in this area. Now, the accelerator that we talked about on AppSource, it's still called the PPM Accelerator, but it's also available up in GitHub. And it's being rebranded as we speak as the Planner Accelerator, but this is what it's been called before, the PPM Accelerator or the PMO Accelerator. We're happy to assist you in enabling that if you want to engage with us. We also have trials of OnePlan. So that strategic portfolio management capability I talked about, you can leverage a trial either from oneplan.ai/solutions, or they're also available up in Microsoft AppSource, just like the Accelerator is. Once again, we can assist you to make sure you get the most valuable out of your trial experience. So try a trial. We actually can give you a roadmap workshop free where we can actually help you understand what it would take to get into a solution like this, or we can demo in more detail. This was a very high level thing, and we can address your specific use cases. Reach out to us at contact@oneplan.ai or research us more at www.oneplan.ai. I'd like to thank you for your time and attention today. I know your time is valuable. You know, bringing this stuff all together into one tool set for portfolio management is, we call it the power of one. Some call it the single pane of glass, but it's the power of one. Thank you and have a great day.